And we are live. You guys like my little music? I've been jamming here for the past couple of minutes, and I've decided to say good afternoon to you. Good afternoon. You guys like my voice? No? Keep my day job? All right, fine. I'll keep my day job. Hello, good afternoon to you. Thank you for tuning into your weekly pulse check with Dr. Dale. Thank you so much. Today is March 6th, 2024, approximately 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are here to talk about all things. You guys know, if you want to talk about emotion stuff, emotional intelligence, if you want to talk about going all out into the unfamiliar territory, the territory of let's leave that emotional stuff at home, not here in the workplace. If you want to talk about that stuff, all things HR, emotional intelligence, I am your girl. I am the one. Okay. So let's just jump right in. I hope you're having lunch. I had lunch. I had some soup. Yes, I did. And it was good. It was delicious. It was chicken soup, actually. Yep. Over here in South Florida, and it's a little rainy. They said a thunderstorm coming. But then, if you're in South Florida and you live here, every now and then thunderstorms come out of the blue. It can be like sunny one time. The next minute, it's like cats and dogs and rains and all the things. So I am glad you're here. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you're having your lunch. I hope you're taking time to have your lunch, I should say, because sometimes we get so busy with all things at work, at home, at school, at church, whatever it is that you are doing at this point in time. I hope that you're stopping to take some time for yourself and enjoy. Feed yourself. Feed your body. Your body needs the nourishment, okay? That is a part of self-awareness and self-care, okay? So do it because it's important. And you use this time to, while you feed yourself, you're like, let me entertain myself and listen to Dr. Dale, what she has to say today. That could be it. That could be your thing every Wednesday at this time, about 12:15 p.m. And we're here about until 12:45, just 30 minutes. That's it. I know if your lunch is like 30 minutes or an hour, you get your good entertainment, good conversation, good thought-provoking conversation to keep you going on your day, and something that you can just file in your subconscious. And when you get some time, you can think about it, right? Whatever it is that we talk about today. So this week, we're talking about, this entire month, actually, we're talking about relationships. We're talking about leadership and how, mastering your emotions can help you in all of these areas, right? If you're a boss at wherever level you are, at your home, at school, at work, or you want to be a boss, if you want to, level up in your relationships, EQ is your tool that I say that you can use. And of course, thousands of other people that came before me, and the research back it up. You can go do that. Sometimes I share the EQ number, so what's the state of the workplace as it relates to emotional intelligence. But today, that's not what our subject is. Our subject is a lot more yummy. It's about emotional intelligence. Some people think, right, and there's some myths out there about it, right? But it's not about being emotional. Nothing. And let me be, emotional intelligence is not about being emotional. It's about being smart with your emotions. It's not about being emotional. I'm shaking my head. It's not. It's not. Please let that myth go away, because it's not fact. It's not real. It's not true. So let's debunk that right off the bat. It's about using your emotions intelligently. Right time, right place, right environment, read the rooms kind of a situation, and be in control, manage them in a healthy way. That's what it's about at the base level. That's just the basics. Okay. So let's go a little bit a step further. It has been said, the results of your life tell you what you are thinking at a deep level. Bob Proctor said that. Say that again. The results of your life tell you what you are thinking at a deep level. So Dr. Dale is asking you today, as part of your weekly pulse check, what results are you seeing in your life that are telling you where you are? What results are you seeing in your relationships? You have a part to play. It's not all the other person's fault. It's just not, right? Because remember, we all have a little blind spot, a little middle blind spot somewhere, somehow there in the middle, in the mix. So what are the results you are seeing in your relationships, in your work relationships, in your personal husband, boyfriend, family, sister, brother, daughter, son, mother, father? What are the results of those relationships that you are experiencing right this moment that is actually telling you the health of it? That's a question that I'm asking you. If the results are engaging, communication is flowing, you're being flexible, you're being empathetic and holding space for each other, you know, the two people in the relationship or a bunch of people in the relationship. If it's fun, if you're able to be yourself, if you're able to, if that person or, you know, if those people or those relationships are adding value to you, they're making you feel great about yourself. You feel inspired to you're not the only one giving. It's a reciprocal giving and take, and you're meeting each other halfway, and you're communicating. You're able to communicate this or whatever it is that you want or need from that relationship in a healthy way, and not, you understood what I just said, why can't you just listen? If your conversation is like that, or relationship is like that, I invite you to examine it just a little bit, not too much, just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. Because if you're constantly, and the research backs this up as well. This is not just my thoughts. My research that I did for my doctorate in business administration studying emotional intelligence, but it's about thousands and thousands of other researchers out there. Very renowned one is Daniel Goleman, right? And many others out there. But if the results that you're seeing in your life is constantly have you stressed or unhappy or sad, frustrated, down, depressed, all of those despondent words that take away life from you, then I, Dr. Dale, welcome you to do your pulse check. Check in with yourself. Check in with that relationship. Before you can check in with that relationship, you have to check in with yourself. Checking in with yourself means, how am I feeling? Do I want this relationship? Do I want this position? Whatever it is, do I want this career path? Do I want to have kids? Do I want a husband? Am I happy with the boyfriend I have? Is my relationship with my mother, my parents, my friends, are they adding value to me? Am I always stressed out? Why am I always stressed out? What can I do to make it better? Do I want to continue like this? Is this healthy for me? for my emotional well-being, my overall well-being, my physical well-being, my mental well-being? Do I have a relationship with God? Do I want a relationship with God? Whatever God you believe in, right? That's what checking in with yourself means. Going deeper than doing the busy work, because the busy work is easy. I'm sorry to say. The busy work keeps you busy. You're handling stuff on the surface, right? The surface meaning what everybody sees, but you're not handling stuff in here. You're not handling stuff that are ruminating in here. You know, your subconscious. Things that you go to bed looking up at the ceiling, thinking about. When it's all quiet at night, you're laying there in your bed, and just before you drop to sleep, you're asking yourself, or you cry yourself to sleep because you're just tired. If that is you, then I welcome you. I challenge you. I invite you. Come over to the light. Come into the light, Caroline. Come into the light. Go to the light, Caroline. And let this be this weekly pulse check with Dr. Dale. Let this be, a step in the right direction of asking yourself those questions, not only asking, but actually answering them and getting some results behind what we're answering. Right? What do you think? I mean, I think that's a good idea, right? Is going beyond the checkbooks, beyond the profits, beyond. If you are good, then everything else is gonna be great, because you are at your highest. You're performing at your best self from a leadership standpoint, right? From a personal standpoint, right? And when you are good, you are being creative, you're being strategic, you're seeing things before they even happen, because you are flowing, your vibration, and the people that you communicate with, the relationships are healthy. You're not micromanaging people, you're not have that extra added stress of, the time ran out for this, I can't do that, and I can't do, like, and that's, you're constantly, and you go to get massages every couple of months, and you are all tight up here, if you're not loosed, if you constantly have headaches, because eventually what's happening up here, the stress that you feel, that you have, whatever that looks like, it attacks the body, right? And I speak about this book all the time, The Body Keeps Score. Go look it up. And it tells you that whatever trauma or stress or whatever was, that emotional incident that happened for you, it tackles your body. And today it may be good when you're 20 years old and you're good and you're young. But if you continue with that same stress for 20 years, what do you think is going to happen? That stress is coming to collect. And how does it collect? It attacks your body with different types of diseases, illnesses, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease. Like, it goes on and on and on. And there's the research that backs that up if you're interested. So this is not just some woo-woo stuff. This is facts, data backed up. If you don't address all your emotional well-being, it's going to come to collect one day. And over time, like anything in excess that you do over and over and over again, it comes to collect. And then voila, years later, here we are. Here you are. Right? So if you believe that we create the life that we want or have, you are creating the life that you want, that you currently have. And go back even into Maslow's hierarchy. right? Where he talks about the physical needs. Do you know that you have emotional needs? I know this stuff is so fun. I just love this stuff. I can eat this stuff up all day. Do you know that you have emotional needs? And I'm gonna probably tackle that at a different time, but just so you can kind of get an idea, right? What is an emotional need? It is a state or condition that must be fulfilled in order for you to experience happiness and peace. In order for you to be happy and be at peace with yourself, you have to have your emotional needs met. And there I think 7, 8, I think 9 different emotional needs, and we'll talk about that at a different time. But when your emotional need is met and responded to appropriately, it keeps you balanced. You're not lopsided. you're balanced, performing at your best self. And this is probably even like, Dr. Dale, this sounds so foreign to me. I know it can be that way. It can be that way. But this is an actual way of being if you put it into practice and you actually do it. Because you've been running the way that you've been running on these fumes, constantly going for such a long time, it's going to take a minute to undo some of that and probably still go, but you go more at a, okay, yeah, I already did that. I already planned out the next 3 weeks. I already strategically did this and did that. Okay, so that means that today I can relax and tomorrow I can relax too. And I can just be in the flow and do whatever I want. That's actually a way of being. It sounds a little out there, but it exists. People do it every day. Thousands, millions of people. So being balanced, it's essential for you to have a healthy lifestyle, right? A healthy lifestyle. And when your emotional needs are not being met, what do you think happens? You get frustrated easily. Your patience is thinner. Your patience is thinner. You are hurt. Hurt people hurt people. The level that I'm talking about, being emotionally intelligent, heal people. Which one are you? Which one do you want to become? Which one do you want to become? And if you're dissatisfied people. Yeah, I know. It's a lot, but it's not that much, but it's a lot. If you're going with me, this is where we're at. So you have to, this is what emotional intelligence does. It allows you, it welcomes you, it invites you to be that person that go a layer deep into all things you. What will we find? What will you find if you go just a little bit deeper and ask yourself these questions? Are you really happy? Do you have joy? Do you know what joy is? Right? You're asking yourself these questions in order for you to decide, who are you? Are you who you were meant to be? Are you who you meant for you to be? If not, and just going in, punching a clock every day, and coming back out and leaving whatever happens at work, if you're that type of person and you can do that, is that working for you? How is it working for you? If it's working for you, Dr. Dale says, if you love it, I like it. If you like it, I love it. Thumbs up. Keep doing what you're doing. right? Everything that is an extension of you, if you're operating in that way, it shows. So if that's the life that you want, then that's the marriage you want, that's the relationships you want, that's you're okay with that, and I'm okay with it. But if you don't see anything wrong with it, I don't see anything wrong with it either. Right? The first step is seeing that there is a need, right? And how you can address that need. Right? So that's where we're at. So there's a quote by a friend of Bob Proctor, and that said a quote in regards to taking responsibility for you. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, Dr. Dale, I take responsibility for myself all the time. Well, if you are, good. So that means you've never pointed a finger and blamed everybody else for your problems, for the things that are happening to you or that you perceive are happening to you. You have never blamed anybody else for. If that is the case, it's not a case. It's not the case for a lot of people. That's why I smile. At one point in your life, or maybe you've done it just yesterday or today, if you have pointed a finger, said, if you didn't do this, you made me do that. If you didn't do that you did yesterday, I would have never done this today. So you made me do this. So that's your problem. You should have taken yours. It's all your fault. Sounds familiar? I used to do it quite a few times. Used to blame my parents for everything that did or didn't happen to me. But once I left my parents' house, is it still their responsibility? I think not. It's not. You're an adult now. You have to take responsibility for your actions. And you have to take responsibility for the results of your actions in the relationships that you have. Your relationship at work, the relationship with your supervisor. You think it's just their fault? You have to ask yourself, and this is what emotional intelligence does. It takes the mirror off the wall from looking at other people, and you take that mirror and you look straight into that mirror, that my director of HR would say, Osvaldo Font, and you say, do I have a part to play in this? Yeah, he gave me the project last week, and I knew when he gave it to me that the timeline to complete it was not going to be enough. Why did I not say something about it before? Why did I wait until the due date to tell him I need more time, or her? Why did you not let them know ahead of time? I'm just giving you an example to kind of looking at things another way. Your perspective is your perspective, but if you don't know what other people's perspective is, which is how you communicate and hear them out, and are they vulnerable enough or feel safe enough to want to share that with you, then they won't, because they don't trust you. Right? So this is where we are. So you got to take that mirror off the wall, put it face to face with it, look at yourself in your eyes, into your own self, not only physical eyes, but your own life, your own actions in this situation, in this relationship, in this job, and see where are the gaps. Because again, we got the blind spots going on, right? You have areas that you see that you don't see. And it's not because it's your fault. It's just that you are focusing on it in a way that other people that experience you are seeing in a different way. And I had this a lot, and still do to some degree, with my husband. Like, he pointed out some areas that I was doing that I said, that's not me. I don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. for years. And not until, I would have to say, the past 2 or 3 years. You're married now, and go figure. This is how serious it is, and this is how you have habitual habits or deep rooted mindset of the way you see yourself, that if if the person is not dedicated to really helping you see that, you won't see it. And a lot of people, a gazillion people, gazillion is not a word, I just made up, a trillion people out there, they don't see it for themselves. They need other people to point it out, nurture better habits, and help coach them along. Which is why coaches have coaches. Wow. You can't do this by yourself if you are really invested in being a better human being. If you're not, this channel is not for you. This conversation with Dr. Dale and doing your weekly post check is not for you. So please keep going and continue to be, because you're the reason why people like me are out here trying to do better, because we have to deal with people like you that refuse to improve your humanity. That was just a disclaimer to let you know you need to start thinking better and being a better human being to other human beings. All right, so we digressed, so let's come back. So let me tell you the quote, and we're getting closer to the end. We have about 5 minutes or so let's just say this quote. This quote says, when a person takes responsibility for their life and the results they are obtaining, they will cease to blame others as the cause of their results. Since you cannot change other people, blame is inappropriate. Blaming other folks, right, causes a person to remain bound in prison of their own making. You are bound because you're pointing fingers at everybody else. And what did your mom say? You point one finger, there are 4 more pointed back at you. You are bound to blaming and making your point and blaming everybody else. And you refuse to look at yourself in that mirror and see what part you had to play in your relationship, at home, how you communicate with your kids. That's because your mom did it, or your parents communicated in that way by yelling and being curt and, lashing out and just cursing. Just because your parents did that to you, you didn't like it. I know I didn't like it, right? My mom didn't, my family didn't curse, but they're, sometimes they were very curt. They would answer you in a rough tone, and that stayed with me. And this is probably why I latch on to emotional intelligence so much, because it welcomes you to be more vulnerable, be more strong with how you communicate. Not strong, I mean weak in how you communicate, meaning you come in a softer tone, right? Because the other person don't know any better for whatever it is that they're doing. So if you come in a softer tone, they're going to be more receptive, meaning they're going to listen to what you are saying. Because the minute you start yelling at me, I stop listening. Your tone goes off. I have disconnected from the conversation, and I may be looking at you. It may appear that I'm listening because my ears, I can't close them, right? I am just looking at you. I have not resonated with anything you're saying. I don't care for anything you're saying, and I checked out. If that's how you feel when other people talk to you, how do you think your employees feel when you talk to them in that way? Why wouldn't they feel any type of way? Because you felt that way. You put yourself in their shoes. That's empathy. Putting yourself in other people's shoes. And that's what emotional intelligence shows you. To stop blaming everybody else. I welcome you in these next two weeks conversation. I welcome you to take that mirror off the wall, and let's build our intelligence, our emotional intelligence, by being a little bit more authentic with ourselves and actually taking responsibility for how we show up. Take responsibility how you show up, right? So I appreciate you for being here. This has been the weekly pulse check with Dr. Dale. And as I started to end my my last couple of segments now, it's, you know, that feeling when everything in the world seems right. You're not worried, you're not stressed about anything. You're not worried about tomorrow. You feel free. You're like you're floating in the air like a light feather. You're filled with joy. The people around you are doing what they need to be doing when they need to be doing it. They are doing great. You feel safe. That feeling is called love. So I invite you to go give that to yourself and others. And I'll see you back here next week with your weekly pulse check with Dr. Dale. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.